creatine's having its heyday. It's come back with a vengeance, like everywhere. I've done a fair bit of research into it. I've tested it, and, our friend JJ Virgin is talking about it a lot. I mean, everyone's talking about creatine right now. I'd love to hear firsthand, how you think it works with sleep deprivation, mental performance, and women's health. Then I'd like to chime in afterwards and say the bits I've seen recently as well.
Yeah. Well, it seems to support cognitive function, particularly when the brain is under stress. Mm-hmm. So there are studies now clinical trials showing that high-dose creatine, about 20, 25 grams, after a bout of sleep deprivation can actually restore cognitive function for people who are sleep deprived. There's another more pronounced form of stress on the brain called dementia, and there was a pilot study that was recently published that found that 20 grams of creatine a day led to a significant improvement in every cognitive domain measured in patients with Alzheimer's disease. Now, the caveats are important. There was no placebo group. This was a very high dose. All that being said, it seemed safe. There were no adverse effects. The population was very small, so we do need more research. But, Alzheimer's disease is there aren't many treatment options that work for patients with Alzheimer's disease. So the fact that this study showed, it was a pilot trial again, but nonetheless showed that 20 grams a day seemed to improve cognitive function was great. The study also found in a secondary analysis, same cohort, that it led to an increase in muscle strength in the leg muscles of these patients with no added exercise. It just led to this boost in strength. Now, you could argue that patients with Alzheimer's disease, maybe they're prone to malnourishment. Patients with Alzheimer's disease, there's a energy deficit problem in the brain. And so creatine seems to help possibly restore some of that energy demand for the Alzheimer's brain. So it's super exciting stuff. I mean, this research didn't exist 5-10 years ago. And now we're getting the focus is sort of shifting away from creatine's effect on physical performance, which we know it has an effect at this point. Like, the safety and efficacy record for creatine is unmatched in the field of sports supplementation. It's like one of the few supplements that is both very safe for people, who are already healthy, and seems to have a marked improvement, a marked effect on physical performance, an ergogenic effect. But now, we're starting to see that people who regularly supplement with creatine seem to have better cognitive function, and these higher doses. See, the dose for physical performance is like 3 to 5 grams a day. At that level, the muscles seem to suck up all of the available creatine, but it's these higher doses that seem to push creatine to the brain. And so it's pretty exciting that, this safe, naturally derived molecule is able to have such a pronounced effect on the brain during stress. Because, we're all stressed out today. And Alzheimer's disease, like, I think, what is it, 50, I believe 50 million people globally have dementia. And Alzheimer's drug trials have a 99.6% fail rate. So the fact that there's this cheap, widely available supplement that might play some sort of therapeutic role in that setting, it's very auspicious.
But it's the second most studied supplement of all time after vitamin C, I heard, creatine.
That's cool. I didn't even know that. Wow.
But I'll tell you what I've heard actually about creatine, which is why I wanted to touch on it, is that I heard that somewhere up to 25 to 40% of our energy utilization is used to create creatine. So if you think about our food intake, light exposure, whatever, for our energy goes into creating creatine. And this creatine, so if we supplement with the right level for us, we are essentially bypassing the need for 25 to 40% of our energy intake because the load has been taken off. Now, then the interesting thing is creatine being one of the end results, apparently, for methylation cycle. So for energy production and detoxification. And what that also helps with is cellular uptake of water. So where our cells are better hydrated. And gym bros see that as extra pump.
Yeah.
Which is why they see the difference straight away. So not only do we get better cellular hydration, we're also saving energy. So we then have a surplus of energy for the first time. Instead of so when we're sleeping, we're actually repairing better because we have more sleep. We have more energy to repair during the hours that we sleep, therefore needing less hours to repair. Now, to double onto that actually I would love to reframe the word sleep to repair time. Because if we were to look at it as repair time and not I need to sleep just because I'm tired, we would have more repair time. Now, creatine essentially helps us need less repair time because we have more energy to repair while we are asleep. And really interesting. So, like, this is a piece of 20 or 30 bits of different information and studies and data everywhere about this creatine. So it's really exciting for me. So whenever I'm underslept, I'll take 10 grams, spaced over a few hours, and I'm like, actually, I feel like my energy has the reserves it needs for the day. I'm glad to hear on your side of the creatine, and it's really nice to see so much happening around creatine right now, especially around women and women's health and how it helps them manage their cycle better because they actually have more energy and more supporting for them on an energy basis throughout the whole cycle.
Yeah. Well, I think there was this concern amongst women that creatine led to bloating, but as you so eloquently alluded to, the water that you store is intramuscular water. So it's not going to make you look puffy. It's not like eating too much salt or whatever. It is actually, it's totally benign. The problem is you might see the scale go up a pound or two, which I know can be unsettling for some people, but I wouldn't worry about it because it's lean mass. It's essentially helping to build lean mass. Now, the ergogenic benefits that you get from creatine are pretty small. They're like 5 to 10%. The big heavy hitters are still going to be your nutrition, your diet, consistently resistance training, etc. But it does work. It does have an effect. And I almost think like, I'm not going to say everybody because people have different health, background health conditions like kidney stuff and whatever. So I'm not going to say everybody. But I think at this point, the data is pretty convincing that, most people would be well suited to be on it.
Hey, I'm Tim Gray. I'm the host of the Health Optimization Podcast, where we bring the absolute best from around the world in the health space to teach you the things that you could be doing to be healthier and happier. If you've learned anything from my podcasts, please give us a subscribe and follow because this helps us get much better guests ongoing. Thank you very much.